Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here. Welcome to Grey Zone Warfare. Today I figured I would put out a few beginner tips and tricks for making the game run with acceptable performance, or just how to get started in the game overall, because there isn't a whole lot of hand-holding here, and from the Steam reviews so far, I can see that most people are leaving negative reviews due to the poor performance. So I did play in the closed creator playtest. I've got about 20 hours in the game so far, and I'm seeing a lot of the same things here that we all went through in that playtest. So let's jump straight into it here. So first of all, you want to come to your graphics settings, and for me, I just put everything on low. Even when I put everything in epic settings in this game, I really can't see that much of a difference. I think you'll agree that even when they're set here to low, the game looks absolutely gorgeous anyway, so you may as well. But the one thing that is going to make the biggest difference, and I would urge you to try this if you have not, is setting FSR and then putting it here on quality. So for reference here, I'm on a 3080 Ti graphics card. I really wouldn't recommend playing this game on anything less than a 3070 Ti, because that's really what you need, at least on around 1440p to get 60 FPS. But if we go ahead and turn this to TSR, which is what I was originally using, accept changes there, you can see I'm getting about 70-80 FPS, which is not great. Let's come back here and put it on FSR. And now you can see it is shot up to 120, 130, and I know that a lot of people with 4000 series graphics cards are getting even higher frames than that. Now, second thing to state here is, even if you have done that, there will be a lot of hitching once the game compiles data and shader caching and all of that stuff, right? This game is massive. There are no loading screens. It's a huge 42 square kilometer open world, and you'll probably notice straight away when you load into the base camp here that you'll start getting hitching. And I'm going to put some footage on screen here and show you the difference between me taking my first helicopter flight, which was just terrible. In fact, I crashed on the first one, and then taking that same helicopter flight on the way back, which is relatively smooth. I can tell you guys that if you are experiencing massive hitching and frame drops, believe me, it does get better. The more you play the game, the more you explore the world, the more your system will be able to handle it. Okay, so that covers the performance stuff. So how do you actually take a mission? Well, if you hit tab, this should bring you to your character sheet if you just logged in. And what you need to do is come over to the vendors tab, and of course these guys have all of the items that you can buy and sell, and then you go to tasks, click on a task, and click accept down here. And you'll notice that he gives you these coordinates, right? So if you come to the map, and we zoom in a little bit, you can see that each of the grid coordinates is shown here, and this only goes for the first few quests in the game. So I think once you've done like the first 3 or 4, you stop getting coordinates, and you really need to make sure to read the text here to get a clue as to where to go and find the quest item that you need. Also, as a side note, once you guys get a little bit further in some of the quest lines here, you'll notice that some of these vendors have items at the bottom under the tools section called tracker, and sometimes they will require you to place a tracker on an item or a dead body, for example, and when they give you the task, they will actually send you a message here in your inbox. So once you've accepted the mission, make sure that you actually also take the item from your inbox before you leave the base camp. We kind of messed up on that. We ended up not having the tracker with us, and then we had to come back and buy some more of them. Furthermore, I would also recommend putting your tracker in your safe lockbox, because whenever you die, you're not going to lose anything there. And in fact, whenever you receive quest rewards, everything goes to your inbox, so you have to accept anything that the game gives you from your inbox. And there are also a couple of quests that I encountered in this game that will tell you need to take an item, but instead of it going to your inbox, it's actually somewhere in this tent. So, for example, one of them, there was like a tiny little flash drive here in the tent, and if you read the text, it tells you that there is a flash drive there. You have to actually take that with you to the quest. So, if you can't find the quest item you need in your inbox, then it may be laying somewhere around the base camp. Okay, next let's get into a little bit of inventory tips here. So, first things first, you can open up stuff by double-clicking it. You don't have to right-click and click on open. You can also rotate items by clicking on them, holding down, and then pressing the R key. So that's really nice for rearranging your inventory. And then these little guys here, the MFAC, the med kits, they are really, really nice because they actually allow you to take an item that takes 2 slots for the sake of 1. You won't be able to use these items in your quick slots, which I'll explain in a minute, but it really does save you a lot of space. So you may be wondering what this lightning symbol means here on your pockets, the tactical belt, the TacTech vest here. And essentially what those are your quick slots. So if we come back to the game and you press 4, it brings up medicine, grenade, and provisions. So anything that is equipped in those slots will be available for use. If we go to provisions and we press P, well, we don't have anything there. If we go to grenade, we don't have anything there actually. But if we go to medicine, we have the Imbalin, because if you look, that is the only thing there that's usable. Also, it does bear mentioning that if you want to be able to reload, your magazines need to be obviously in the vest here. Another little tip that I like to use is, instead of taking a bunch of magazines like this, which the game will start you with, I usually only run with around 2 or 3, and then I just take a bunch of ammo, because you can see here that you can take 120 rounds for the same amount of space as 30 rounds in a magazine. And if I fire a few shots, reload, now this one's down, all you need to do is drag and drop, and you're back up to 30. So unless you're in an insane firefight and you need more than like 2-3 mags, I would just recommend taking the ammo as is. Okay, next let's cover a little bit of weapon modification. So I was unlucky enough to experience a crash, and I lost my starting M4, which had the nice red dot sight on it. So now you'll notice I've just got the normal old iron sight here. And what do you want to do if you've got 2 of these red dot sights and you want to equip one? So if we open up the weapon modification settings here, you'll notice if you try to drag this over, it says it can't be socketed because it's not compatible with the carry case. So what you need to do is remove the carry handle, and then you will be able to go and put the red dot sight on there. And this also goes for the ACOG sight. A lot of people wondered, where do you get the ACOG sight from, because it makes quite a difference. If you go to vendors, you go to Gunny. Where is the ACOG sight? Should be somewhere around here. Oh, there it is, the ACOG 4x sight. You can't just buy this and put it straight on the M4. You actually have to make sure you buy the ACOG mount as well. Once you've bought those two, let's remove this scope, or this sight, and you've removed the carry case handle, then you just go put on the mount, and then you can put on the ACOG scope. And now, you'll have something much more nicer to work with here. Also, whilst we're on the topic of scopes, it is worth mentioning that if you use page up and page down, this will actually change the zeroing of your scope. And you can tell here with the ACOG that it goes, I think, like all the way up to 1600. Yeah, 1600 is the max. So let's go put that back down to 100. So let's go ahead and remove this scope here and this mount. And let's go put this, sorry, wrong spot. Put the red dot sight back on here. You'll now notice that the zeroing is a little bit different. Now it goes up in increments of 50 instead. So it depends on what sight you have, how the zeroing is going to play out. Also, some handy hotkeys to know. If you press V, that will check your magazine. If you press Alt V, that will actually do a full weapon check. So it checks the chamber, the magazine, the fire mode, and also the zeroing. So you know exactly what you've got to work with here. You can also press B to switch fire modes. And whilst we're on the topic of hotkeys, for whatever reason, some of the hotkeys, if we go to the menu here, they're not listed in the game. But there are some good ones that you should know about. So, for example, I brings up the inventory. U brings up your health, which you'll be using a lot when you go to heal yourself. If you press M, it brings up this small map here. And if you hold M, it brings up the big map. J will bring up the tasks. I like to think of J for journal. And probably the most important one is Z. Z is your proximity voice chat key. And for whatever reason, it's not in the key bindings. It was in the playtest that I played previously. I don't know why it's gone or why you can't rebind it. But if you want to talk to people in the game, you need to be holding Z. Now, of course, when you want to set out and take part in your first mission, you're going to need to call a little bird in. And the way that calling little birds in this game works is, well, you need an LZ. And you're going to start the game with 2 LZs. Doesn't matter whether you're spawning down here or here, you're going to have 2 differently named but similar LZs. And you'll notice that the starting areas are like the same. I started here when I did the playtest. I was Mithras. Now I'm playing as the Crimson, what they call Crimson Shield International. So I'm up here in this corner. But the way it works is you have to call the helo and you want to click wherever you want to go, right? So you don't click where you are, you click your destination, and it will automatically send the helo to your closest LZ. So let's say you're running to this LZ, you're somewhere around here, you would then click on the base camp, call a helo, and it will automatically come and pick you up at Charlie 1. Now, you may be wondering how you can get more LZs. There is, I think there's one around down here. There is a third LZ for the starting zone. Or it may actually be here. I can't quite recall. But what you have to do is just run into it and discover it. You can also get a friend who has already discovered it to helo you there, and then you'll get it for yourself. And of course, as you go through the game and you complete more tasks and more missions, eventually they will just give you some LZs around here and some down here so that you can get across the other side of the map. But for the most part, all of the other LZs are just discovered by exploring the world and walking around. So there you go, guys. I tried to keep this one short and sweet. I didn't want to make it like too in-depth, but these are some of the things that I discovered playing for myself that really made a big difference. So I hope this helps some of you guys out. If you want to see more Grey Zone Warfare on the channel and also more Battlefield, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I will be covering this game going forward, I think, because I am quite enjoying it. Leave a comment down below and let me know how you're getting on with the game, and if you have anything that you need help with, I'll try and help you out with that as well. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.